The Art of Imagining from 1965. In this one, Neville speaks about there are these two friends of his, and these two guys live together. They own a house together. They commute to work together. They work in the same company. Each of them has their own vehicle, and what they do is they carpool to work to save money. Like one week, one of them drives in his car with the other one in the passenger seat, and then the following week they switch, and that's what they do. So anyway, one of them is they both work for RCA. One works in the TV division, and one works in what he calls the Whirlpool division. I don't know if Whirlpool was owned by RCA back then, or if it's a different kind of Whirlpool. I have no idea. But uh, so this guy's a salesman, and he's apparently very good at what he does. And he gets laid off. His job goes away. And he can't understand why. And he finds out that basically corporate in Chicago, these guys live in California, that corporate in Chicago basically goes to around to their divisions in the company, and they were basically cutting salary to save, to streamline things, to be efficient. Okay, so he basically asked Neville when they were over for dinner. He said, you know, he talks about what a good salesman he was and all this stuff. So he says, Neville, when we create reality, as you say, imagining creates reality, must we always do it consciously, deliberately, or can we do it without knowing we're doing it? And Neville says, well, may I tell you, you can't stop doing it. It's not only in the waking day, it's through the night. There is only one creative power, and that is your own wonderful human imagination. So then he told me this story. He said, we live together, as you know. We have a home in Eagle Rock. That's our home. We have two cars. And what I just explained to you is what he talks about. And he says the traffic is bumper to bumper on their way to the job. As anybody in California would know, the freeway traffic, I guess even back then, was really bad. So that's the long and short of it. So he said, well, when Bob drove, and this was bumper to bumper traffic, many a time I not only thought of it, I voiced it to him and said, oh, I wish we were turning off here and going downtown instead of turning this way and taking the Santa Ana freeway. So I said it to him. But many a day, as I rode next to him, I would, as we came to the junction, I mentally would turn off and would turn towards downtown LA. Now, said he, I was so shocked when they fired me. No one told me anything. There was no rumor, but the order came through from Chicago that this department must give up one person. They went all over the country. They had their biggest financial year in the history of RCA last year, their biggest. They paid higher dividends, made more money. They have all kinds of things that they didn't have in previous years, but that doesn't in any way affect these so-called efficiency experts. So that was the official reason why he lost his job. But he was figuring, knowing what he knows through Neville Goddard, that there's that if he's really creating it, that it's something he did, right? That he imagined that caused it, but he couldn't figure out what. But he did figure it out. So it said here, only the emergence of a hidden continuity. Now, how to find that hidden continuity? Where was the cause? The cause upon the surface is physical. It came from Chicago, corporate head office. That this efficiency expert went over all the fields and blah, 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 right? So, but that wasn't so at all. Bob got to that junction on a morning after 2 years, and he lost himself in a daydream. And Mort kept on driving towards RCA, but Bob enjoyed the ride and moved downtown. Well, I've said it time and again, the potency of the imaginal act is its implication. That's the potency of the imaginal act. Well, what turning downtown would imply? Would it not imply that he is not working at RCA? He either quit the job or he was fired, but it would imply he is not working at RCA. Well, he enjoyed these imaginal journeys where he was not bumper to bumper on the Santa Ana freeway. Then came the sudden emergence of what he had planted. So there you have it. Basically, Neville said this guy met Christ in that way, right? His imagination, his wonderful human imagination, is the Christ of Scripture. So there's, more to this. But if you scroll down a little bit, do we always have to set this thing in motion deliberately, or could we do it unwittingly? Now he knows. If he only remembers what he said to me last Sunday night, if man could only remember, the awakening man always remembers, and he watches carefully exactly what he is doing in his imagination. Well, that's the entire world. You are creating everything in your world, and no one else is doing it. They are only instruments through which you are expressing this enormous power. And Neville continues, so the natural effect is only seeming. It always has an imaginal cause. It always does. So if you bear that in mind, you will never be surprised. No matter what happens to us, somewhere along the line, you did it. He tells something about a story about his father to illustrate the same thing. I'm not going to read this. This is, you ever read a Neville Goddard lecture? He goes on and on and on, and it's fascinating stuff, but that's beyond the scope of this video that I'm doing here. You can easily look this up and read the entire thing. Neville Goddard lectures, The Art of Imagining. And so I wanted to bring that to you and basically illustrate that, you're creating everything. And it may have a perfectly logical, natural, physical source. But if you look underneath and you really study what's going on, or you have some kind of memory of what was happening inside in your head at the time, you could probably figure out how you caused whatever it is that you're wondering about. So I hope this is useful. I hope this is educational. I know there's not a lot of YouTubers, I don't think, talking about it this way. And I'm trying to find these little gems from Neville. Because Neville really is, he's the OG, right? So I hope you enjoy it. Please like and subscribe, share my stuff. I'd like to get some more subscribers. I'd like to get some more views. Lately, my videos haven't been getting a lot of views. I'm talking like 30 views. It's ridiculous. I see some of these, no offense to anybody else, but I see a lot of videos on YouTube in this topic space that are very, in my opinion, superficial, that have hundreds of thousands of views. I don't know. I guess I should imagine being a top YouTuber, but whatever. I just do this for, I'm just trying to help out. This isn't really my gig. I have a job and all of that, but it would be nice to reach some more people. So I'd appreciate if you could help with that. So thank you, and I will see you in another video.